Majority of you still do not understand the UK new rules and regulations around student visas, and as a result, many people are being victimized because of bad choices. I have made a video on my channel regarding the same issue, but many people still fall victims around these rules and regulations. I am here to reiterate this. Please pay keen attention and take actions accordingly. 3 things that you must be aware if you are an international student living in the UK regarding the rules and regulations that govern you. These are what you can do and what you cannot do. Please do not be scammed. The UK rules are rules, and they will never cease to be rules because of your decisions. Please do not let anybody tell you otherwise from the rules and regulations that are being stipulated on the UK government website. Number 1, if you come into the UK on a student route, that is, if you are in the UK as an international student with a student visa, know that you cannot switch on any skilled worker visa, be it care visa or any other skilled worker visa, before you finish your course of studies. If you get a sponsorship during your course of studies, whether a paid one or a free one, that your job start date is still within your studies period, know that it is a scam. There's a very high possibility that your visa will not be granted because you have not finished your course of studies. Do not deviate the money that is meant for your school fees and pay for sponsorship. You will not be able to utilize that sponsorship at all if you have not completed your course of studies. My advice for you is, if you are getting a sponsorship before your course finish, make sure that the work start date on that sponsorship is after you finish your course of studies. Only that you will be sure that the sponsorship is real, because if you do not finish your course of studies as a student, you will not be able to switch onto any route at all. International students in the UK are very restricted in today's UK. It was possible before, but it is no longer possible. And don't even think that the UK rules will bend for your benefit. Maybe sometime, but now this is what it says, and don't be deceived by anyone who is selling a COS for you. Number 2, if you intend to come into the UK on the student route, just make sure that you actually want the studies. You will study and stay on the program for the period in which the program lasts. Take your mind off deviating, dropping the university and switching onto any route, and it is no longer possible. Choose a program that you really want, because in either ways you still have to complete the program to stand a chance in the UK. If you do not complete the program, to have any chance at all, you will have to go back to your country to be able to do anything at all. Even if you were here with your dependent and your dependent happens to switch, remember your dependent can switch onto any visa at all, but you cannot switch. You are restricted. So if your dependent happens to switch onto a skilled worker visa whilst you are still studying, you will not be able to switch and become his or her dependent whilst you have not finished your program of study. So anything switching, you must finish your program of study in the UK before you can think of switching. You will be able to switch to any other visa, but you have to go back to your country, quit the studies with a reason. Maybe you are not able to pay your school fees, blah blah blah. No, that is fine. You will still have a good immigration status, and you will be able to apply to come back into the UK, either coming back into the UK on a work sponsorship or to become a dependent on the dependent you brought earlier on your student visa, etc. My whole point is that there is no deviation from your studies if you come into the UK to study. Know that. Number 3, the last thing I want to discuss is actually for anyone coming into the UK either on a skilled worker visa or on a student visa. Not until now, students were allowed to come into the UK with their dependents. Majority of people come into the UK in twos, as couple, a principal and a dependent. for whatever your agreement was before coming into the UK. Usually, the dependent, whether a dependent of a student visa or a dependent of a skilled worker visa, stands a lot of chances than the principal or the main applicant. Number one, a dependent have no work restrictions. A dependent can work in any sector at all. A dependent can start a business, run the business, and do other jobs at the same time. A dependent will still get indefinite leave to remain after 5 years alongside the main applicant. However, the main applicant, if the main applicant is a skilled worker, is only restricted to extra 20 hours within the same field. The main applicant can start a business but cannot run the business, especially if the business is outside of the person's profession. The dependent stands a very good chance. If you are coming into the UK with a dependent, you have planned to come into the UK to work together, take care of the cost of studies, take care of the cost of the sponsorship, some bills and etc. Make sure that there are strict terms and conditions. Put strategies in place that will enable each party to fulfill his or her plan, especially the dependents. Like I said, dependent stands a very good chance. You can come with a dependent today, and the next few months the dependent has gotten a sponsorship and the dependent is switching. The dependent might not even be willing to fulfill his or her part of the agreement. I'm not actually coming out plain, but I want to believe that you are understanding me. People have come in twos. Dependents refuse to fulfill their part of the promise. Remember, let's say you are here as a student. You are here as a student with your dependent. The university is holding you responsible, not your dependent. You are in the heat. If you do not have strict strategies in place for everybody to fulfill their part of the plan or agreement, you will not find a dependent to contribute towards the cost, the bills and everything. Making money in the UK is difficult, so it is hard for somebody to actually make the money and give it out, especially if they feel like I have nothing to lose, I'm already in the UK. Understand, if you are back home, some of these things you might not even know until you come into the UK. That is why I'm telling you, if you don't have strict strategies in place, you will not find a dependent to fulfill his or her part of the agreement. I will link the original video that I've made about the new rules regarding student visas in the description. I will also leave a link from the UK government website that you can have access to reading these rules. My name is Fatma Ali. I thought to remind you of the rules and regulations around student visas. If you are new on my channel, please subscribe. If you find value in this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section, and share this video massively to anyone that it might be of benefit to. I'll see you in my next video, and for now, please take good care. Bye.